and welcome to the podcast where three friends discuss environmental policies from around the planet.
Let's discuss climate change before we actually get into IPCC. Why does climate change keep coming up with all these regulatory organizations? In fact, like, this is an entire organization that is just made on climate change, right? That doesn't do any of its own work. It just like keeps telling you what other people are doing about climate change and like just kind of gathers all that data to give to people in power. Ala, why do you think climate change is such a big... Why does everybody want to keep talking about it? Even Bill Gates, who flies in private planes, wants to talk about climate change.
Well, okay, so before I get into my thoughts, there is something very important that I want to remind everybody of. Weather is an atmospheric condition that we see short term as a result of things like precipitation, wind, solar radiation, etc., all that stuff. While climate is average atmospheric condition over a set period, like a pattern in a set place. So I just want to say that because climate change deniers try to be like, oh, look, you guys said the world is getting hotter, but it's snowing really bad. Like, that's weather, you know. You got to look at the pattern. You got to look at the causes. Anyway, something that I think that right here, we're going to talk a lot about climate change and its importance. And there's so many reasons that it's important. It affects a huge part of our lives. Like, it isn't just an abstract idea. Something that people don't always think about as the first effect of climate change, well, I guess people talk about it, but it's not the first thing I usually hear people say, is infrastructure. So like, even in the United States, I'm using it as an example, infrastructure is crumbling. It kind of improved from D to C minus, but like, bro, D to C minus, and like that's the rating that the American Society of Civil Engineers gave it for 2021. So like, I think they did this in like January or February or something. 43% of our public roadways in the U.S. are in poor or mediocre condition. And a lot of roads are built specifically to fit the climate of a place. So when there is disruption in the climate, these already crumbling roads, and consequently the weather patterns that come with them, with the climate change, they destroy them, basically. Because they end up lasting a longer time. There's more wear and tear. They have to keep fixing stuff. And actually, Ajwah, you're going to love this. This is a strong point from AOC's Green New Deal.
Ooh, let's talk.
So, I mean, I still have a lot of issues with that bill, but we'll get into it in about 2 episodes, I think, right? So
yep.
It's going to be a real fun because it's going to be a debate type episode. So let me not spoil that out for you.
Mm-hmm. The spoiler is, guys, they're not letting me talk about what I want to talk about. So, here's the spoiler. So,
yes.
Watch me be sad.
Oh my God. Tuning for
Sadly
that.
passionate.
There you go.
Passionately sad. Sadly passionate. We'll figure it out.
I'm dying.
Hey, I still have to get my points across, right?
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so... what I think about climate change is, like Ala mentioned, I think it is very important to understand the weather and climate, and I think she did a great job at it. And I know, while we can sit here, and a lot of people actually do this, where they just be like, oh, the earth has been changing for billions of years. There was we don't have dinosaurs. There was ice. This was covered with ice. Now we don't. Why do you guys keep complaining about these things? Because, okay, why are we actually constantly talking about this is because over the years, first off, these things have not, like in the past, these things have not happened because of human interference, right? So whatever was happening, it was because of how the earth evolved. You all evolved to be humans today. Did you all want to be chimpanzees like we were back in the day? No. But you're not like, I don't want to evolve anymore. I still want my wisdom teeth to come in. No, you don't. But I think what people don't realize that when we talk about climate change, it is not about the earth. Yes, we want to protect the earth, but that's because by protecting the earth, we want to protect the most vulnerable. What will happen is that these disasters will keep increasing. We will constantly have these more floods and droughts. And what will happen is it's going to affect humans. Because let's be real, and I've talked about this before, the earth will heal. The earth will always heal.
Yep.
It is like if you see any habitat that has been destroyed in the past and then once it got rejuvenated, it actually, they like again, Chernobyl is an example. They come back very quickly to life. The things that are not going to come back to life are your dead relatives. Okay?
That is so true.
It's so true. And if we don't protect these people, the earth is going to just look at us as fucking parasites and remove us. You think these climate disasters are happening because the earth it's just how evolution works? No, it is, you know how you sneeze when you have something in your nose? Yeah, those flood is the earth sneezing to get you out of it because it doesn't feel comfortable with you in it.
Ajwah, please, I cannot. I'm choking.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna spend so much of this episode laughing. I can't.
Lord have mercy. But that's my point. Since we talk a lot about policy in this podcast, the reason why climate change is so important to policy is because policy is about people, the betterment of people, the development of people, and protection of humankind.
And I mean, in the long term, it's gonna hurt others too. I mean, and not that long too. Miami keeps building all these amazing buildings. They are so nice. And How to Save a Planet did a great episode on this. I don't know why I'm plugging in another podcast, but they did. However, the city itself isn't bracing for climate change. It isn't becoming more climate resilient. They're just raising the sidewalks. What are they gonna do? They're gonna enter boats to get to their fancy ass condos and shit? Come on, bro.
Yeah. No, but they will, Ala. That's what I'm saying. They will. Do you know what won't? Winewood won't. Miami downtown will be fine because rich people are there and they will. That's the thing. The most vulnerable get
eventually
hurt.
Those buildings will become so expensive to maintain. This is going to affect, at the very least, eventually. But I guess some people are like, well, we'll be dead, so maybe they don't care.
What about these solutions that people give in as seawalls? We will build the walls so high. What do you think about that?
Combating climate change at the coastline is a very complicated topic, which I am learning actually right now in my personal life. But I think that you have to combine things. I don't know. I know, I think in the Netherlands, is it that they have a really resilient coastline in a lot of parts of the Netherlands? I don't know about those seawalls ideas. It seems kind of stupid to me because I think you have to combine a bunch of different things, and you have to also change. All of those things will not work if you do not change your practices. I'm just saying, to be honest with you.
I will say something. I think building seawalls is a great idea for maybe 2100. And then what about after? Because if your practices are not sustainable, it's going to get worse. Right now, you can foresee and be like, oh, until 2100, this wall is going to hold. What about after then?
And if the climate changes ridiculously, what will happen to that wall?
Yeah, exactly. What will happen to that wall? You can't even... Okay, Miami cannot talk about seawalls because we both lived up in that bitch and it took them 4 years to build that I-95.
Bro, they're always repairing
to renovate that I-95.
It's permanently broken.
It's permanently broken. The entire time that I was in Florida, that thing was under construction. And right now when I say they built it, is only because I'm not there anymore, so I'm just hoping that it's done.
Ajwah, I lived in Florida for 10 years. And in 10 years, every time I got on 95, at some point, there was a part in 95 that was under construction. At least that's what I saw. So
exactly.
I don't know about seawalls in Miami.
Right. You know what? Let's calm down on that front for a little bit. But yeah, so basically, I think the whole idea behind climate change is not to protect the earth. The earth will protect itself. It's to protect the people that inhabit this earth. As we go forward, we're just going to see things get worse.
I mean, I also want to protect the earth because I like to enjoy the things that the earth gives me, but also I just like to be in nature, which my boyfriend thinks is very weird. He refuses to go camping. He's like, I mean, Are we going to go camping in a cabin? That is what he said to me. He's like, why in God's name would you leave running water, electricity? I mean, if we go to a cabin with electricity and running water, sure. And I'm like, that defeats the purpose. And he's like, speak for yourself.
Ala, why don't you wait 50 years? And apparently we're going to run out of all of those anyway with the way that we're going.
I mean, I'll still go by myself, but I'm just like, you should experience. It's beautiful.
Well, now you know your boyfriend Edwin needs to really curb his climate impact because he can't live without these things.
He cannot.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us on this little outtake bonus thing. We'll do more of these if you guys love them. If you want to hear more about climate change and the IPCC, check out episode 4. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. But until then, keep learning, pals.